Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Transparency Tuesday. And I'm just going to try my best to keep it short and as positive as I can. As you all know, because it's been plastered all over social media, there's been a lot going on in the world that's very heartbreaking and very unfortunate, but also not surprising. So with that, and the reason why I felt that this fit into the Transparency Tuesday is because aside from everything that's going on in the world, we all still are having our own personal experiences and our own personal struggles. So when something like that is causing an uproar globally, when something like that is causing an uproar globally, you have that on top of whatever you're already going through, whatever you're working through. Same thing for positive, whatever positive that you're going through. If something great happens in the world and you have something great happening in your life personally, it's an add-on. So with both the positive and the negative, it's an add-on. And just for me personally, this is just a really, really, really tough season for me personally. So to have that type of stuff happen, it just kind of piled up the discouragement and piled up the frustration, and just makes it that much harder for me to have to fight through this season and to really just take time and intention with really connecting with God in a deeper level. And through that, what I can say is that when negative things do happen, I can only speak for myself, but I do know that I cling to Christ much, much, much harder than I do when things are going well. And that's just real. There may be many of you out there who that's not the case for, but for me it is. It gets a little more deeper when things are harder. It gets a little more deeper when things are challenging. My prayers are a little bit more intense when I'm struggling, And so, of course, through that, God is showing me how He wants intimacy in all seasons of that matter. But of course, as humans, when we're emotional, things, at least for me, again, I can only speak for myself, with me and how emotional I am, when things are tough and my emotions are going all over the place, it's a whole nother story. And so it's just been tough. It's been tough to deal with what the world is dealing with and going through, and everything against the Black community and everything that has been publicized. Now I know, because I saw a post that had stories about some Native Americans that have been killed recently as well. So of course we can only go by what we know. I can only go by what I've been exposed to. So I can't be held accountable for the bunch of tons and tons of stories throughout the year that I don't know. So I'm only going to speak on what I do know. And it's the same thing with these recent killings. There's been tons. There's been tons of them throughout the years. It has come in different forms and in different ways. And it was just something about this one that just hit us in a different way. And I've just, and at least I just see through the social media experiences that I have encountered. So again, I can't speak for everything and I can't speak globally. I can only speak for my experience, my news feed, the friends and family that I have seen, through my news feed and everything like that. So that's been disheartening. That's been tough. And again, like I said, on top of me going through a really, really extremely tough season just without all that. And then you add that to it and I'm like, okay, Jesus, come get us now. Like, it's time to come get us. Yes, you have foreshadowed so much of this craziness in the Bible. And we are definitely in the end days with how ratchet and crazy all of this stuff is. And I'm just like, Lord, like, it's just tough. It's very hard to live in this world, and it's very hard to be Black. just it's very hard to be Black in this world, and not because we are different, but because the world has chosen to use our skin as something different. And so I think that my frustration, again, the killings hurt. Like, and seeing the the gentleman's son cry, and all of just the disheartening things that have been happening, that stuff hurts, but it's not that surprising. This has been happening for years. What's frustrating to me is the idea of the whole all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. The issue with that is when we are saying Black Lives Matter, we are not saying that no other race matters. That is not what we're saying. The problem with all lives matter is that it has been made very clear through the actions that have come through, up and through all these years, that all lives don't matter. Because see, if all lives matter, we wouldn't be getting killed and slaughtered all in the middle of the streets. We just for nothing. Just for breathing, and we get shot up. Because we breathe and we're Black, so we can get shot. That is my problem with all life matters. We don't need to be told or reminded that white lives matter or any other race. We don't need to be told that, because that's very clear. The media shows it, Hollywood shows it, it's very, very clear that white lives matter or any other lives matter. And again, I'm only speaking from my experience, and I can only speak on the Black Lives Matters because of my experience. That again doesn't discount everything else mattering, but we don't need to be reminded that white lives matter. It's very clear. It is very, America has made it very, very clear that white lives matter. Very clear. So we don't need the all lives, we don't need that. That's not the point of that. And that's probably my biggest frustration with the whole thing, is the back and forth between that it's just nonsense. It's like, just leave it alone. We are trying to make a point that we do matter because America has not shown that. Us saying that Black Lives Matter does not negate the fact that all lives matter. But we don't need to be reminded about all lives, because if you look at media and you look at America, it's clear that all lives, the other lives matter, right? What's not clear is that Black Lives Matter. So what we will continue to do is remind everyone that Black Lives Matter.